What's going on with y'all? It is time for our after range report. We took the PSA Armory Dagger full size S, which is basically a Glock 45 clone. We took it to the range today. First time taking it to the range since we went to the Glock store. We got all Glock Eternals in there, including the recoil spring, which we will talk about a little bit later on because we had several stovepipes with this. And I believe it's that recoil spring that's in there. But we'll talk about that in a few more minutes. As far as for the DPP titanium plate, held good, held zero. Shot some excellent groupers at 10 yards too. We're going to talk about that too. So the DPP titanium plate, no issues. The Hollowson EPS, no issues. As far as functionality of the gun, outside of them few stovepipes, no issues. Good tight groupings at 10 yards. Let's look at our target. Okay, so this is Federal HST 124 grain. This is Federal HST 124 grain. This is Critical Duty 135 grain. Critical Duty 135 grain. So if you look at this target and you analyze it, it would be fair to say that PSA Armory Dagger really likes the 124 grain HST, more so than it do the Critical Duty. But at the end of the day, both ammunitions through that firearm shot good enough for government work, good enough to get the job done in a self-defense situation. Looking at the 124 grain HST and how good it shot from up out of that PSA Armory Dagger, I love Critical Duty. That's my go-to ammunition, but man, that 124 grain, look at this grouping right here. Look at that. Now I know it's only 10 yards. And this was shooting from off of a bag. But this was also shooting from off of a bag. And some of these was freehand too. I actually got the video. I did some freehand shooting with the 124 grain. I think that's what I did right here. Because where I had the target position, all my bag shooting, we did low, and freehand shooting was up here. So some of this was freehand shooting. I think these right here was the freehand shooting. And this was from off of the bag right here. But that 124 grain HST shot pretty good up out of that Dagger, man. So we may have to make a change. Might gotta make a change. But yeah, so that's the target. That's what we did. Got a good tight grouping at 10 yards. Let's move over to the Dagger. Okay. Everything worked out good, but we had some stovepipes. Why do I think we have stovepipes? I can show you right now. We are clear. Verify one more time. We are clear. Pull that back a little bit. Boom. Get that from up off of there. Boom. Now this is the guide rod that came in the parts kit. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to put the guide rod that actually came with the Dagger. We're going to put that back in there. Maybe we don't need this guide rod. We're just going to go back with this one right here. Because I really don't foresee anything else causing any stovepipes other than the guide rod change. Because the firearm worked perfectly before we put anything in there. So it's the guide rod. So we'll swap out the guide rod and we'll put the guide rod that came inside of the Dagger. We'll put that back inside of there. And we'll take it to the range next week and we see if we still have any stovepipes. But with that being said, very productive range day. We're going to go ahead, get this into our EDC rotation. And I have to say this. Eventually, of course, we're going to get a better quality EDC handgun. I'm thinking about that Springfield Hellcat Pro, honestly. That's what I'm thinking about. Kind of like a slim Glock 19. I would work with that right there. But when we get to that point, we'll talk more about that later. Right now, we got the Dagger. There ain't nothing wrong with the Dagger. We done ran hundreds of rounds through it. Other than a few stovepipes that I believe was caused because of the guide rod swap. Everything worked good with it. I really hate this damn trigger. I really hate this hinge trigger right here. I hate that hinge trigger. I really do. When I went to the Glock store, I asked if they could put another trigger in there, but they said because it's a Dagger and you know it's different kind of dimensions and stuff like that, they may not be able to put a trigger in there. So, of course, we're gonna get a better EDC handgun, but that's later on down the road. And let's just keep it honest. Later on down the road ain't gonna help me if I have to go out in the morning and the boogeyman jump from out of the bushes and try to get me. What I'm gonna get later on ain't gonna help me if that happens. So we gotta work with what we got. And the Dagger with this Hollowson EPS, which got a good tight zero at 10 yards, is what we got, and that's what we're gonna run. With that being said, y'all be blessed, be safe. I'm out. I'm gonna give y'all a break for a while. I'll be back doing more gun stuff the end of next week. Cause we need to get some ammo for that 5.56, and we need to get a scope mount too. We need to do some rifle work next week. We'll talk more about that later on. I'm out.